In this video, we will see how to ungroup data in SQL. This is ungrouping and not unpivoting. So unpivoting and ungrouping are two different operations, and in this video we will see how to ungroup data. Since this is not related to pivoting, we won't be able to use any unpivot function or operations similar to unpivoting to do this ungrouping. Instead, we will use a new concept called as recursive SQL to ungroup data in SQL. So this is our input table. So our input table contains three columns. The first column is ID column, the second is an item column, and the third is a total count column. This table tells us the number of items in a particular store. That is, for ID1, the item is pen and the total count of items within that store is 2. And when coming to pencil, the total count is 1, and coming to book it's 2, and umbrella it's 3. And now this is grouped data. Now we have to ungroup this data and create a table in this manner where pen is repeating 2 times, that is corresponding to the total count, and pencil is repeating 1 time, book is repeating 2 times, and umbrella is repeating 3 times based on the total count. So this operation is called as ungrouping. Now let us go to SSMS and see how to do this in SQL. So this is the exact same table which I have created in SSMS, that is the store sales table, and this is the table which we saw in Excel. Now we have to ungroup this data and create an output which is similar to our expected output. Let us start writing the query. As I said earlier, here the concept we are going to use is recursive SQL. For recursive SQL, the first thing we want is a base query. So let us write the base query first. That is select. We want all the columns from the input table. The first column is ID, second is item, and the third column is total count. So these are the three columns which are required, and this is taken from the store sales table. Let us copy this, paste it here. Now we have the base query. Instead of writing the recursive SQL query for entire table or entire items, let us first write for a single item and then let us expand it to all other items. For that, after the from clause, I will write a where clause. Actually, this where clause is not required for the final output, but for simplicity, first we will write the recursive SQL for a single item and then we will remove the where clause. Here we will take only pen and write the recursive SQL query. So let us write a where clause where item equal to pen. Now this is the base query for recursive SQL. Let us execute this, and this is our base SQL query. Now we want to write the second part where we are writing a condition based on which recursive query will happen or recursive operation will happen. So for that we will have to write a union all clause, and after that we have to write one more select clause, and here the columns which are required are ID, item, and the next column is total underscore count minus 1. So based on this condition only, recursive operation will happen, and we'll give the column name as total count, because in both the queries column name should be same, and this is taken from the recursive query. Let us name this as R1, and let us put this entire query inside a parenthesis. So starting from the first query, that is the base query including union all, and the second query which is the recursive query, let us put all the things inside a parenthesis, and at the beginning of the parenthesis we will use a with clause and give the name for recursive query, that is R1, as the query inside parenthesis. Now we have completed the recursive part. Now after this from clause, inside the query we have to write a where clause based on which the condition should terminate and the query should give us final result. So here we will write where total count, copy, greater than 1. Let us write this condition. Now after this is like a CTE expression only. So we have to write one more query outside. so that we can fetch result from the CTE R1, which is recursive CTE. Select, we want ID and item from the R1 query, from R1. Now let us execute this and see what is the output that we are going to get. Execute this. Now we can see that pen is repeating 2 times as we saw in our output. So pen is repeating 2 times. Now we wrote this recursive SQL query only for pen. Now let us remove this where clause, because we don't want the result for pen only. We want the result for entire input table. Now let us execute this once again. Execute. Now we can see that we have more records in our output, and also one more thing we can do in order to compare our result. Let us order the final output based on ID, order by ID. Now execute once again. Then let us compare our output with the expected output. Copy this and let us compare this with our expected output. Now we can see that our output which we have obtained in SSMS and the expected output is matching, and we have successfully ungrouped data. This is how we can ungroup data using recursive SQL. This is just one application of recursive SQL, and there are many more applications of recursive SQL and which are more complex than this application. Let us see that in a future video. Hope you like this video. Thank you.